Well, now, on this video, allow me to tell you the truth or my honest opinion or my honest advice if you're earning yourself less than 10,000 Kenyan shillings. And by the way, for those who do not know how much is 10,000 Kenyan shillings, that's like roughly $100. That is exactly the amount of money that I'm talking about. And because, honestly speaking, there are levels of earning because we usually have what we call the level one. The level one basically, for example, my first salary, what I earned when I did finish my high school actually was around 5,000. All right, so there is a level one that is way from should we include 0 shillings all the way to 10,000? That is actually called the level one. See, then we have the level two. Level two is when you're earning something to do with 15K all the way to 25,000. All right. 25,000. Okay, now when we go to level 3, this is a particular scenario where you're earning yourself 26,000 all the way to 40,000. And then we have and by the way, for your information, most of the Kenyans, I would say they are in between here. This is where most of them are there. But anyway, I will say level 4, this is when we talk about 40K all the way to a point whereby you find someone is earning maybe say to 100 or something of sort. Now, see what happens, it depends on how you approach life, depends on what exactly you earn. So level 1 is from 0 shillings to 100, 10K, then from that. But largely in Kenya, most of the guys earns from 115,000 all the way to 60,000. If you ask me, not even me, if you go ask KNBS, that is Kenya National Bureau of Statistics, they say over 80%. Over 80%, and not 80%, but over 80% of Kenyans usually earn within that bracket. Now, point is this, there are these people who earn between here. Probably either you freshly graduated, either you are interned, you're given some, they call them stipend, or maybe say you finished high school, or maybe you're just doing some, here and there, that amount of money. So my honest advice, if you're in that category, I would say, in this category, you are the preliminaries, you are the base of the hierarchy as far as the hierarchy is concerned, as far as the finances are concerned. And at this particular level, definitely the reason why you are earning this amount of money, you are earning that amount of money based on what we call the perceived value. Remember last time I told you one thing, we actually get paid based on our perceived value. That's why I was giving an example of go to any typical office. There's someone who washes, sweeps, or whatever you can call it. And then we have the accountant, or maybe we have somebody who's a manager. Those people tend to earn different amount of money based on their perceived value. So at this particular point, you have the low value. So this is what I would let you know. Okay, there are two areas of what you're supposed to do. At this particular point, the very first thing, if I was you, this is what I would be doing. I would actually creating network as much as I can. I should be creating network as much as I can. What does it mean to create network as much as you can? To create network is in that company that you're working or whatever the place that you're working, network with people. This is what we call the socio-economic networking. Socio-economic networking. Socio-economic networking. You are networking with them on the basis of economics. You see, this is when you know who works where, does what job is available where, when, can you do exactly all those kind of things. You link up with people, you link up with other guys whom you schooled with, you ask them where they are working, how much are they getting paid, they have vacancy, and all those kind of things. So at that particular point, I would say go ahead and create what we call the networking so that you can elevate your situation. There are two areas here. You either do the networking thing, or you can actually go ahead and do what we call the value addition. The value addition here, have you ever heard of a situation whereby somebody maybe has a diploma or maybe say a degree, and then they tell you, hey, I want to go back to class because I want to add some education, because I'm prospecting that if I do so, then I'll be able to earn more than what I'm earning right now. So I would say that is what we call the value addition. But sometimes it can be a bit detrimental. Why? Because it is not directly proportional to you getting back to school. You might find some guys going back to school to do that so that they can earn more, and then you find it doesn't go as you expected. So the issue is this: how do you actually add value? For example, let me ask a question. Let's say maybe you are a security officer, you earn this amount of money. You can think of getting some side hustles. Maybe probably you can think of, hey, what skill can I learn? Or if not possible, then how much can I be able to salvage in terms of a month? But I'm going to talk about the financial aspect of it. How are you supposed to plan yourself and all those kind of things? But for now is actually you add value to yourself so that at least you can be able to get something at the end of the day. Do not feel comfortable. There are some people you find them earning this amount of money because honestly, if you ask me, the current economies that we have, not only in Kenya. I do not know, or rather, I don't think there is a country that you can actually live comfortable with this amount of money. All right, it is quite low there. So you really need to understand that you're just getting started. At this particular point, the other thing that you're supposed to do, you're supposed to do what we call the shake off all unnecessary, what we call expenses. What does it mean? When you're earning this amount of money, what you're supposed to do is shake off the unnecessary expenses. Simply means on this category is that some of the things that you're doing. Yeah, I know you love fun. I know you love to enjoy yourself, to be out there interacting with people, but at what cost? Because that all those things usually comes with a cost. See, what you're supposed to do is that try as much as you can to bring down your expenses so that you can elevate. Yeah, I know probably if you may follow the rules that says you're supposed to save at least 20%. So 20% of 10,000, that should be how much? 10% of 30,000 or 10,000, that should be 1,000, then 2,000. Therefore, you're supposed to save as low as 2,000. Okay, let's say you save that amount of money each and every month, as low as 2,000. So then that means that you remain with 8,000 to actually run all your other nitty-gritties. And if maybe you have a family, it becomes a little bit tough, because honestly, with the current economy, this is where you have to get your rent. This is where you have to. It is so tricky. Honestly speaking, if you ask me, if you're earning this amount of money, be disturbed. Don't be comfortable. Be aggressive as much as I can. And sometimes you might even get yourself quitting that job and trying to look for something better. Because honestly speaking, I mean, you watching this video and you're wanting this amount of money, or maybe you can just imagine someone earning this amount of money, because there are people who earn this amount of money per month, not a day. Someone is making this in hours or in the single hour. Someone is earning this in a month. So what you're supposed to do, shake off unnecessary expenses. This is not the time to delve yourself into taking alcohol. This is not the time to take yourself into parties and all those things. You know, you're supposed to be, someone is actually drinking this amount of money in a single bottle of whatever the thing it is. Okay, so what you're supposed to do, go ahead and do what you call the social networking, socioeconomic networking, whereby you interact with people, get to know what opportunities are there, value add yourself. The reason why you're getting paid this amount of money, it is because of the perceived value. That's what they're viewing you are worth. Probably if you freshly graduated, they know that you don't know much about the character company and what have you. Actually, them giving you this amount of money as a stipend, they believe that they're paying you quite a good amount of money. The other thing they're supposed to do, shake off unnecessary expenses. And by the way, if you ask me, among all these three things that I've shared with you, this one is the one that you can do immediately. This one is the one that you can adjust immediately because you have a control of it. For example, if I tell you now, start doing what we call the network, social networking. Socioeconomic networking, well, it might need a little bit of time, maybe a day or two or three, or maybe say next week or next month, for you to actually know whom am I going to contact and all those kind of things. Also, when you talk about adding yourself a value, it takes time. Maybe if you need to take a course online, maybe in that company that you're employed, you can identify, hey, you know what, maybe probably I'm employed as an IT something. You can actually offer to solve some of the problem. Maybe somebody's want to do some data entry somewhere, you can include that sort of a skill. You can include something like a graphic design in between. Somebody want to prepare something, you go ahead and learn those skills, you prepare for them. Sometimes it starts with you working for free for them, and then later they can actually tell you, hey, you know what, I always have a guy, whenever I want to put in some a lot of data, I usually contract the guy, and he's an amazing guy. In that process of actually doing what we call the socioeconomic, because when you do the socioeconomic, this is when you work on your integrity part. You work on your integrity part, be a person who is actually, reliable, be an individual who keeps time, you manage yourself, be presentable, work on your communication skills, respect people, and all those kind of things. Because I always tell people, you must follow first before you lead. You have to do that. For example, can you imagine that you show up to a company where we are dealing with great people and big people out there, the CEOs, the managers, the whatever, and then you are, first of all, you are even shocked in that environment that you are in. So it's always good to make sure that you maintain that kind of a thing. So the only thing that you can actually do so immediately, for example, right now, you can actually decide, go ahead and be saving this amount of money. For example, assume that you are comfortable and you are able to do this, okay? And you save for the next, let's say, 6 months or 7 months. If you save 7 months, then you're gonna get yourself 14,000 somewhere. See, now 14,000 somewhere, now you can be able to do something with this 14,000. Now you have to compare, you ask yourself, with this 14,000 I have somewhere, if I go and start something like a grocery business somewhere, okay, how much do I prospect to make? Okay, well, compare that with that what I have, and if I was to quit that job and go ahead and do that specific thing, how much do I stand to gain? Some people, I saw a certain guy, you earn this amount of money. Let's talk about the value, how you can actually learn more skills. The guy was earning this amount of money. Guess what happened? He decided to show up to a friend of his who runs a barber shop. So the guy could go there and be taught how to do the shavings and all those kind of things. So the guy will show up each and every time, until the guy acquired another skill of shaving. That is a skill that he didn't have. Now, guess what happens now? He has a job that he has, and at the evening after the job, the guy could show up by that place. Probably we have some guys who are coming in, and the guy will shave like one individual or two. You get a commission. And in Kenya, what we do is that if I have a barber shop, if you shave somebody and you maybe charge them 200 or 300, half of that is mine, I keep it, and the half of that is for the owner of that business. Then it means if you can manage to actually show up each and every evening and you shave a guy, and then you get maybe, even if it's just a 200, it has paid to you as tomorrow's transport. You see, but that cannot happen if you do not have the skill. So now the guy, what he did is actually showed up to that particular place continuously, and guess what happens? He started buying small equipment. For example, that machine of shaving, he bought a one at 6,500, and there's a remaining amount. You can buy another one, and maybe the guy bought two, the balding one, and then we have the other normal one. Okay, ladies might float on this. Just assume you know what I'm talking about. So he bought these two machines, and guess what he decided? During the weekends, the guy would do what we call the mobile shaving. Yeah, mobile shaving, whereby he would walk into mobile barbershop, I should say. He walk into the, what do we call them? The estate, shaving people. He has carried all the hygienic, all the personal effective things, like the towels, everything. Maybe water, that's what he can't carry. You can use your water. And then, of course, electricity. He uses whatever you have and all those kind of things. And he has to consider that factor as well. So the point is, and of course, you are being shaved at the comfort of your home if you actually allow the guy to come. Obviously, he was facing some challenges, because you might think like, hey Joseph, it is easier said than done. It is true, it's easier said than done, because to convince somebody that first of all you know how to shave, they cannot entrust their heads with your skills. So what they do, they will ask you, where are you always based, so that they can come there and see. It's kind of murky water you're getting into, but the point is you're trying to kill this reality that you're earning this 10,000. You want to at least, up your game in a little bit of something of sort. If you're not the kind of a guy, then if you're too much into the formal industry, then work on the things that I was actually discussing way before. And guess what, guys? If you do this, I dare promise you, this is going to actually transform yourself, because, hey, I'm telling you, if you get comfortable with this amount of money, you're going to have yourself a tough times, because it is not a safe amount of money on a very serious note. And when you earn that amount of money, it's a high time that you really need to sacrifice a lot of things so that you can achieve something. There is no any other way out. That is it, guys. That is my own view, and that is my honest opinion that I will tell you, because even if you were to decide to set aside 2,000 continuously, you put it in a money market fund, I'm telling you, it will take you years and years before you actually make a substantive amount of money, because at the end of the year, by 2,000, you have yourself like 24 G's. So 24 G's, well, sure, it's a good cash because you can start a biz, but the question is, you see, what we want to do is to try as much as we can to what do we call it, to grow the money as we move to the next level. All right, so anyway, the point is, guys, that's it. Don't forget to like the video. Make sure that you comment on the comment section, leave me a like, and as well, go ahead and grab that number of mine from the description if you'd like to get any services of me, be it either my booklets that I've written about finances, maybe about businesses or investments. You can get a copy. It goes for only 280 Gs, 280 Kenyan shillings. For now, it's a goodbye, and see you in the next one.